Yo, yo, my sovereigns. What up? This is Boba Fett, uncensored on the internet, with episode 16 of Splinterlands 101 and continuing on with the Behind the Avatar theme tonight. Joining me, as usual, co-host of the show, greatest gentleman who ever walked the earth, Matt Clark. My partner in crime in Victoria, Geotrix.
Hello, hello.
And our special guest for the night from the Netherlands. Please welcome Exile.
Pleasure to be here.
Okay, so Exile, you're we've predominantly up to this point on Behind the Avatar, we've had players talking about their games and leaderboards, leagues, and so forth. So tonight's going to be slightly different and no less important, probably more so important. You got involved for a different reason than, even though you are a gamer, Splinterlands wasn't like the game attraction. So what first drew you to Splinterlands?
I've been with Splinterlands, well, it was called Steam Monsters back then, from the beginning. So the very first day it was announced by Eckroad, I was there checking it out. And it's not entirely true. I didn't start as an investor in Splinterlands. I was just a gamer at first, and it sort of grew and exploded into becoming an investor later on. But I used to play a lot of Hearthstone, which is a card game by Blizzard. And I always hated the fact that if I would buy packs with this game, that I would get my cards. But when you stop playing, Blizzard owns your cards. You can't do anything with them. And it always pissed me off, because with analog cards, if you play Magic the Gathering, you at least have the physical cards. You can always sell them, but you can't do that with digital card games that are not decentralized. So I saw the potential, and I like Eckroad, and I love the artwork of the cards. So I got involved and I started buying packs. And you have to remember, back then there were no stats. It was just pictures. There was nothing. There was no game. There was no strategy. There was no market. As far as I know, it was just pictures on the blockchain. And you used to trade those pictures in Discord. There was no market. So you had to go find other people that wanted to trade your cards. It was cool. It was very, very cool. And I collected a lot of cards back then. And obviously later on, I kept all those cards. That turned out to be a great move, because as you can see now, the game has exploded. And well, yeah, I became an investor because of that, because now I rent out all those cards. But we can get to that later on if you want.
Yeah, actually, I had completely forgotten all about that, but I remember there was different rooms on the Discord server for trading and swapping, and the announcement that battles coming soon. I'd forgotten all about that. You were there.
I was checking the battles, and back then you just picked your team, and I think it would just automate the battles in the background for you. There wasn't like a new rule set all the time. You just picked your team, and it just went on the whole day. As far as I remember, that's how it went. And then later battles were coming, and you could actually fight other opponents, and well, that was super cool. And then from there, you got the first tournament. The first tournament wasn't on the website. It was organized somewhere else. Do you still remember, Matt, where that was? The name of that website?
There was a site called Challenge.
That's it.
And it was only challenges. So there was just two guys would challenge each other. But this Challenge website was a third party thing, and everybody would go in and they would tell you who your opponent is, and the guy at the top would have to send an invitation to the guy at the bottom. Yes. And then they would have to report back into Challenge and say who won the match. And obviously they'd both have to agree on who won before the next person would go through to incredibly clunky. But at the time, right, it was groundbreaking because of the NFT aspect of it. Nobody else was doing that. So exactly. Now, of course, there's a lot more people doing NFT projects, but they're nowhere near the level of refinement and sophistication that we have on Splinterlands, where today I'm in an alpha tournament, and I'm also doing my guild brawl, and I'm also doing my daily quest, and I'm also watching a replay of the town hall, trying to get some intel on how the ranked rewards change is going to look. So that compared to several months where you would DM somebody on Discord and say, hey, do you have any alpha flash columns I can buy? And then you just send them Hive and hope that they would send you the cards. So,
It was very primitive back then, but it was a lot of fun because usually when these projects just start, you are with same-minded people that feel the same way about the game, and the atmosphere is really fun and exciting, and you can see the potential, and you get energized just by being around, and that was a lot of fun. But I also bought a lot of cards on Discord, and when it comes to the first tournament, it's one of my proudest moments in Splinterlands. I won that first tournament that was organized. I was the first winner, and since then everything has gone downhill because that was my, what do you call it in English? My best moment. Yeah, and then it was just better players came in. Yeah. I'm not sure what it's called, but better players came in, and people like JSK, I call him JSKW. I'm not sure if that's his name, but the guy is incredible. You can't win, as far as I'm concerned. I can't win. So at some point I was like, you know what? I'm just not good enough anymore. But I have this whole bunch of cards, and I can do something with that. But back then, there was no rental market. So I was just sitting on all these cards for about 2 years, and then Peak Monsters, which is just a third-party website where you, with a much better interface to rent cards, came out with this V1 rental system where you could somehow primitively rent out cards. And I remember doing that. And back then my cards were generating, I don't know, $1 a day, which I already thought was quite decent. And then later, Splinterlands themselves, they made a rental market, and that worked fantastically. And then Peak Monsters made that rental market better. And then the game, from as far as I'm concerned, exploded when the rental market came live, because I could throw all my cards on the market. Players came in, they could rent those cards from me for a fee, and they could use those cards to play tournaments, to play battles, to earn deck, and all that stuff. And for me, that was what made Splinterlands explode. And from an investment side, it was, well, incredible, because all of a sudden, all those cards I kept for years, they just became 10 times more valuable. Because I don't really care whether card prices go up or down, because I rent those things out anyway. And sometimes it's more, sometimes it's a little less, but it's a constant generation of, well, in this case, a dark energy crystal, which is one of the in-game currencies. And what else? What more can you ask for? And the cool thing is, if you compare it to analog cards, so let's say you have Magic the Gathering, and you have your analog cards, and you lend them out to another person, those cards might get damaged in the process if that person plays with it. And then you get your card back, and there's a big tear in it. And now all of a sudden your card is less valuable. Well, that sucks. But with digital NFTs, I can rent them out all day long. And I don't care who rents them. I don't care what they do with them. I'm always the owner, and I can take the card back whenever I want. And it will be in perfect condition each and every time. And I can do that for as long as this game exists. So from that perspective, I think cards are an incredible investment, because they can't get damaged. You can always rent them out. And I think with time, when, of course, you have to believe that more players and will come to Splinterlands, and that the game will grow, and that the economy will get bigger, then it doesn't matter what a card costs now. It will be more valuable in the future, and you can always rent them out. So they just constantly generate. it's out of this world. I love it. And then, sorry, I just keep yapping on, but if you want to ask a question, I get excited about this stuff, and then I just go on. And then later they come out with this SPS token, this governance token, which was airdropped on people that for a whole year. The airdrop is still going on right now. If you hold assets in the game, whether it's cards or dark energy crystals or packs, you're eligible for this airdrop, and you just get SPS tokens dropped on you every day for a whole year. And these things will be valuable like you wouldn't believe in the future. That's what I think. But obviously, when it just came out, the SPS airdrop came, people get excited. And what usually happens with airdrops, the price skyrockets. It's always the same. I've seen it many, many times. The price skyrockets, people get super excited, and then it dwindles. It needs to find the bottom. And that's the hard part, because now you have the excitement of people that say, it will never go below 60 cents. It will never go below 50 cents. And then people get excited, they buy in. But when you're a bit more experienced with this stuff, you know it will dwindle, because the inflation rate at the start is just immense. And you need so much buying pressure to keep the price high because of the high inflation. It's never going to work most of the times. So what I did, I just collected my airdrop, and I waited patiently for the price to dwindle. And around these levels where we have arrived now, 10 cents, I started to buy. That's what I've done. And this is where I feel comfortable to put a little bit of my own money in, and to trade some other crypto into SPS. And that's what I've done. I don't know if I'm right. It might go to 5 cents, but if it goes to 5 cents, it's just easier to buy a little bit more. And then your average price will be like 7 cents and 6 cents. And you can just keep doing that. And what's hard for me is I bought like 500,000 SPS at 10 cents. And I don't know, I find it hard to recommend buying SPS for other people, because, you know, I now just bought, and here I am on the show talking about SPS, which is slightly, it irritates me. That's one of the reasons I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to come on, because, you know, it's just that fine balance between, you know, recommending something you just bought or really believing in something is a fine line. So what I would recommend people to do is just don't believe anything I say, and just go to sps.splinterlands.com and look at the white paper, and just do your own due diligence and read about it. And you will probably realize that with time, this SPS token will have a lot of benefits, and we can talk about that a bit later as well.
This video is for entertainment purposes only and should not be construed as financial advice. Dieses Video dient nur zur Unterhaltungszwecken und sollte nicht als Finanzberatung ausgelegt werden. Este video es solo para fines de entretenimiento y no debe interpretarse como un consejo financiero.
Yeah.
There's a lot to like there, Exile, and I can tell you're conflicted about it, and that's great, because you're, you know, an ethical person. I'd say, you know, at the rate that we're getting staking rewards back, it's really difficult to say, well, we're going to have 5 years of staking rewards. If I buy at 10 cents, I'm at some point going to be down, because I mean, that's the gift that keeps on giving, right? But I had a real mental image when you were talking before about, you know, being a card renter. I've used before the example, the analogy of motor racing, motorsports, which you mentioned Formula One earlier. The way to look at the leagues that I find is, you know, you've got go-karting, and then you've got, you know, stock cars, and then you've got right the way up to Formula One, which would be Champion League. And you can, there's sort of, I mean, it's all driving, but there are different levels of skill required to, you know, to do well in each of those different levels. And there's different levels of investment required, right? You can buy a two-stroke 50cc
Moped.
mini kart, go kart, and compete in those races. And you can do well, and you can win, and you might win a prize of $20, $50, whatever. Whereas then you go Formula One, and there's all this other thing. But while you were talking about the different, I guess your approach to it, where you're not necessarily playing, I had a picture of like a NASCAR in America, and how many of the people employed who make a full-time living through NASCAR, what percentage of them do you think are actually drivers? Because it would have to be 1%, maybe fewer.
Yeah, fewer probably.
You've got the guy who supplies the tires, and you've got the guy who teaches new drivers, and you've got the guy who, the security guy, the hot dog vendor, right? So once you have this industry, there are thousands of people who find a niche in there, and only a small handful of people who are actually out on the track doing the driving. But when it first starts, of course, when the very first start of motor racing, people would arrive in their own car, and they would drive themselves, and they would do their own promoting and their own marketing and their own all of that, their own finances. Whereas I can really see, as this thing expands, there'll be more and more people like yourself who say, well, look, I'm one of the backroom guys, right? I'm putting up my assets, and I'm doing that carefully. And I think that's one of the things I love about the SPS staking, as much as what we know about it, is we'll get to a point where you stake on a new player who isn't necessarily well known yet, and he does well. If there aren't other people staking on him, then that's where you get your best returns. And I see that like a talent scout. So again, there's somebody else who's out there recruiting drivers from all around the world. He's out there, he's looking at the go-kart tracks and going, okay, I think you're going to be a good driver. I'm going to bring you up to the big leagues. I'm going to support you with my finances and my infrastructure, and then we're going to see what we can make of you. And that itself is another role in this massive ecosystem. So it's funny seeing you talk where you're saying, oh, look, I'm not really part of this, when you're absolutely part of this. Not only did you win the first tournament, you're also going to be the first boss monster, because you won that. I remember you winning that auction, which itself was quite gripping at the time. I remember it's like, who's gonna, it was like it was great. Great fun.
If I can quickly talk about that, there was an auction for Agro said we need some funds for the game. We have this auction. Whoever wins becomes the first boss monster in the game, and that's a monster all the players will fight, like a PvE, player versus environment battle. Well, what we do now is PvPs, player versus player. And I remember thinking, I would really want to be the first boss monster, but in the auction, he put in a bid of 600 Steam, which was like over €1,000 at the time. And I was like, that's, man, I'm not sure. So I was talking to my buddy, Ezzy, he lives in London, and I was like, I really want to be the first boss monster, but what do you think? And we were just discussing it. And at some point I decided, you know what, fuck it. I want to be the first boss monster, but I can't beat the auction because the guy has too much funds. I knew that he was quite well, he had a lot of steam. So I was thinking, how can I approach this? And Agro said, the auction will end on this block number. It's just a certain block in the Steam blockchain. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait until the very last block before that block, and I put in my bid. And that's what I did. I put in like, I think it was 651 Steam. And then I put it in, and then the block closed and the auction was over, and I was victorious. And yeah, I was quite happy with that, because I think by the time PvE boss monsters come out, that's going to be quite a spectacular place to, I don't know, to be as a player and as an investor. And I already had the whole story written up by a writer, and I'm just waiting until the team is ready. But they're very busy at the moment. They're doing like a ton of stuff, and this is not one of the highest priorities. But I don't care. I can wait. So yeah, that's how that went. So those were my two big victories when it comes to the game: the first boss monster and the first tournament. And yeah, it's good stuff. But I really like the analogy you gave about the racing. That makes so much sense. I never looked at it that way. But yeah, I think I became, from being a driver, I call myself like a manager. I manage Splinterlands assets. That's what I do. And I hope that what I'm waiting for now is, when it comes to SPS, I think SPS will elevate the whole game. That's why I'm quite excited about it, because everything is linked to SPS. I think when SPS starts to rise again, probably in conjunction with the rest of the crypto markets, maybe soon, maybe in 2 years from now, I don't care. it will pull up dark energy crystals. It will pull up the cards prices. It will just pull up all the tournament prices. And then in combination with staking on people, and we're going to get the SPS validators, which will make the whole game way more decentralized than it is now. There's all this potential. So you also invest because you can see the potential, but I don't see the potential tomorrow. That is just ludicrous. What you do is you just buy it and then you just sit on it because you believe in it, you believe in the team. And then that's what you do. And that's how I invest when it comes to this game. Well, not to this game, but to this SPS token. And of course, the airdrop has been amazing. The airdrop was just fantastic. It's such a great idea to do it over a year. So you've sort of forced people to hold their assets in the game for a longer time. And I think that works really, really well. So, there's one more benefit by staking or holding SPS. You get vouchers. I forgot about those. So vouchers are used in promos, or you can use vouchers if you want to get discounts on packs. And you can also sell these vouchers on the market every day. I think they're worth like $1.20. And there's just all extra passive income that stems or that comes out of staking this SPS token. And yeah, there's so many benefits. And then plus all the benefits that are waiting in the future that Matt Rosen, Yabbit Pimet, he doesn't really want to talk about it, what's coming. I think it has to do with DeFi. The reason I think he doesn't want to talk about it is because the airdrop is still ongoing and you still have the airdrop by the VCs, the venture capitalists, that is ongoing. And he doesn't want them to dump those tokens, I guess, or anybody here to dump their airdrop tokens on the hype of the news of whatever is coming. So you want the distribution done, and people that want to sell, they will sell anyway, and then then the token is in stronger hands, and then I would push out the news, and that's going to be, I think, spectacular. But it can be. We can see there's some delay here and there. When you look at lands have been delayed. I don't care personally. I can wait. I've been waiting for so long, and this game is, it's constantly generating. So what does it matter that I have to wait a little bit longer? Maybe the validators will be delayed. I don't know. We just have to see. But eventually, the team has always delivered. Everything they've said, they have delivered so far. And this is the first time you can see a little bit of a delay, but they're taking a lot of stuff on at the moment. I mean, they're working, I think I heard yesterday, they're working on a mobile app. They got a whole team. Of course, I lost my train of thought there. They're working on the validators, and they're just working on a ton of stuff. And I think they said they have all kinds of different teams working separately on different things. So I imagine that at some point it will just all come together. And whether it is now or in 2 years, in the meantime, I always said, just have fun. Just play the game or rent out your cards if you don't feel like playing. That's another great thing about the game. If you like playing the game, but let's say you go on a 2-month holiday and you can't play, just put those cards on the market. They'll generate for you while you just go out and do other stuff. It's fantastic. I mean, what more can you ask for? You can't even do that. Well, you can't do that with Hearthstone or any other digital game. You can only do that with Splinterlands, as far as I know. And you just get a small passive income from your card collection, and it can't get damaged. So yeah, I think it's great, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I think my first introduction, like back in the 90s, I got involved in a few different multi-level marketing, Amway, Megatrend, and so forth. And like the products, whatever, what I looked at was the potential for earning a passive income. I mean, in a job, JOB, just over broke, you have to do the same thing every day to get the same thing you got yesterday. You don't keep getting paid for yesterday. You want to get paid again, you got to go to work again. And I couldn't see any other way. I can't sing. I rap. That's what rappers, people who can't sing, that want to be involved with the band. They can't sing, they can't play a musical instrument, so they rap. That was me. So this potential passive income from someone totally outside of the investment scene, I recognize that. Yeah.
It's extremely valuable. And what you see now, and you see that every time the crypto markets go down, of course, we've all noticed that the SPS token I told about has dwindled. The card prices have dwindled. The land prices have dwindled. Everything basically has come down. The deck prices are going back to peg, which is, that excitement when everything goes up, it goes the opposite way when everything goes down. And you see a lot of negativity especially in the Maverick chat and also in general. And I think it's unjustified, but it's just, I've seen this so many times because I think this is my third wave in Splinterlands, I guess, where things are just going the opposite way because the markets, they move in waves. And what happens is when it goes up, all the, let's call them newbies, they just hype on the bandwagon, or they jump on the bandwagon and they buy in and they get excited and the price keeps going up. And it's like, oh, I've made the best investment of my life. But it will always go the opposite way as well. It's just how markets work. And if you know this, if you're a player, it doesn't matter. You just use your cards and you just have fun. If you're an investor, you can try to time it if you want. I'm not the best at timing bottoms and highs. I try to, but it's very difficult. I would say it's nearly impossible. So that's why I like this investment. I don't really have to think about it when it comes to SPS. SPS will just generate vouchers for me. It will just generate more SPS. Later on, I will stake it on a couple of new players that may or may not approach me. And if they play well, that would be super fun. And I look at the whole thing at a much longer time frame. I don't look next month, 2 months. I look 5 years in the future. I mean, that makes sense to me. So if I pay 10 cents now for an SPS of 5 cents or 2 cents, I think it will be better off along, I think in the future, that will probably be a good move. But that's what I think. And I don't know. I have a lot of faith in the team because I've personally met them on different occasions. Reliable guys, really nice. I like how open they are with the AMA. I don't know any project in crypto that is so transparent in what they do as Splinterlands. I mean, I don't know how they do it, to show up every week, to do an AMA and explain with the whole team or part of the team, to show what they're doing and what they're working on. I've never seen it anywhere. I love it. I think it's great. And I especially like it when Matt is on, because lately I'm really curious about the validators, and he dropped that bomb like a month ago that they were working on something like that. And I was hoping that he would come on yesterday, but I think he might be coming on Monday. So yeah, I'll tune in Monday. But that stuff makes me excited for the long run. And I don't know, all these short-term problems that you see now. What people do is the price goes down, and now they start to search for reasons why this is happening. And it's like, it can't be me that bought too high. So that cannot be the reason. So there must be another reason. It's bots. It must be bots. If there weren't any bots in the game, then, oh man, SPS would be $10 already. Or they say it's the amount of Chaos Legion packs. It must be the amount of Chaos Legion packs. There are 15 million Chaos Legion. If there was, we need to burn 5 million Chaos Legion packs. Because if we do that, oh man, the price will skyrocket. But they don't get it. It's just market waves. So just ride out the wave, and you'll be fine. That's what I believe.
I do find it sad when I find it sad when we're going up, and you'll see somebody in Discord announce that, oh, I'm doing so well in Splinterlands, I've quit my full-time job, and that's to me the hair stands up on the back of my neck, because of most people in this game, I think a lot of people would point to me and say, there's a guy who could retire. But that's literally the last thing on my mind, because I don't want to pull any of this out. You would need to have very short-term thinking to want to do that. In fact, I like my job more than I used to now. It's not a great job, but I've got a lot more time for it and a lot more tolerance for it, because it used to just give me money, and now it lets me stay in Splinterlands and roll everything back in. So I actually like my job more than I used to. And I think the people who are waiting for the opportunity it's just enough now that I can quit my job, those people, when it does turn around, then they have to
liquidate,
sell the farm. Basically, they have to sell it all up in order to meet their bills, pay the gas bill, pay the water bill. And I constantly think how blessed I am personally to have a full-time income and a stable situation where I can just keep rolling this stuff in. Because if I was desperate to quit my job and do what? I mean, I would spend just as much time probably on Splinterlands anyway. But if I was to quit my job, I would constantly be thinking, okay, now I need to be pulling value out of this game. And I don't want that. I love looking at this and going, okay, I've got some dark energy crystals income. What am I going to do? Do I want to buy more cards to rent out to people? Do I want to buy more cards to increase my playing deck? Do I want to upgrade one of my guilds that I'm in? There's all sorts of different options, but I don't have to think, am I going to pull this out to buy groceries, right? And the guys who are doing that, they amplify the waves that you're talking about, right? So they're the ones who, when things are going up, they're, oh yes, let's throw everything at this. But also when things start going down, they're dumping at a massive discount at their own cost. And it kind of has to happen because it's the inhale, it's the exhale, it's the cyclic. And their assets need to fall into diamond hands so that next time we have a cycle, we can reach even higher peaks because there are guys like us who are taking those assets and saying, thank you very much for the very cheap asset. I'm never letting it go. You come back in 6 months and rent it off me.
Yeah. Oh, that's how it works.
I feel sorry for them, but that's the market, isn't it? It's all about maturity and wisdom and learning your lessons the easy way.
Yeah, and I also think anyone who's in crypto, it's all about your own knowledge. You make your own decisions. You become your own man. You can't invest in something and then when it doesn't pan out, turn around and blame someone else, because no one is forcing you here to buy anything. You don't have to play this game. You don't have to invest. If you don't do your research, then you have to sit on on your blisters. But I think that's a Dutch saying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But of course, when you do moon, of course, they want to take full credit for it.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm the greatest investor ever. I made it. But I've seen this before. I remember in the Steemit days when people were blogging, a lot of people left their job. So it was the same thing. The passive income was great. I never have to work again. This is it. I'll be a blogger for life. And then it doesn't work out, and then you have to power down, sell all your Steam. And I think powering down your SPS now is it's horrendous. Even though it can go much lower, it's just. I think the token is extremely valuable in the long run, and I'm sad if people have to power down for these reasons. But there's nothing. Well, there's not much you can do about it in the end.
I actually saw the exact same thing back again early Steam days. Ned was delegating 2 million Steam to DTube, and I was in a Discord server of it's called DTube Daily. People were making a video a day. And with DTube upvotes, $90 to $120 a day. Some people were making 2 or 3 videos a day. And then, of course, when Ned pulled his delegation, all these people who are, I'm living full time now making videos, but look at that, power down, power down, power down, power down.
Yeah.
So, Exile, you just dropped a massive bomb a little bit earlier. You said that you've actually met Matt and Aggro. Tell us about that.
Well, I did actually. In the Steam days, Roland P, he was one of the witnesses, used to organize an event. It was called Steamfest. And I think it was Steamfest.
Times, yep.
Yeah. And I think it was Steamfest 3, where Matt and Aggro came to Krakow in Poland. And that's where, well, a lot of people met them, including myself. And that was a lot of fun. And that's where they actually gave me this. I got a few of them. They were one of the first printed in free starter pack cards. So that's why I'm holding my finger on the number, although maybe somebody can guess it. You can get a free starter pack, or they don't do starter packs anymore. It's spellbooks, right? But back then you got a free starter pack with a few cards. But I think they stopped doing it because they were basically giving out alpha packs for free or alpha cards, and well, that turned out to be a bit expensive. So now when you buy a spellbook, I think you get ghost cards, I believe. Is that correct? Yeah, you do. Yeah. So as you can see, I hope you can read it. It's October 2018. So it's quite a long time ago, but that was a lot of fun. Yeah. It's just when you meet the guys or when you meet the people behind the game, it makes it more real. And, you know, I think personally, I think Matt is a genius. I've interviewed him a few times. I used to have a show back on Steam where I used to interview the witnesses, and Matt came on a couple of times, and his insights and the way he views things is just, it's just genius. And I think his idea, what he will do with SPS and turn it into this DeFi thing, plus the validators, it's going to be, I think he said he studied it a lot, and I'm pretty sure he has, and he will drop some bombs soon that for us to enjoy, of information, and that's going to be a lot of fun. It's not out yet, so I can't really talk about it. You can just speculate, but that's why for a while I've been a little bit in the background. Not much was happening with the game. It was just, you know, slowly turning, and now with the SPS token and all these validators, I feel like I have to be on the ball. It's time to pay attention, and this is the time to pay attention. Forget about all the noise with the bots or reasons people come up with that things are not going as well as they think they should. That is actually the time you pay attention, and then once it turns around and it actually starts going up, that's when you can chill out a bit and say, okay, I've done all the hard work, and now I'm just going to enjoy the fruits of my labor. So that's how I look at things. But the meeting was really nice. Aggroad, a great guy, very direct. What I like about Aggroad is I don't think I know anybody who has a thicker skin than he has. The amount of shit that he had to endure from comments, from people not being happy, and him just taking it and just keep going, keep the grind going without feeling too anxious about it. I respect it a lot. So those two together, I think they're great leaders of the game. And I mean, if you look at the team now, it's enormous and it's growing every day. And I just see only good things. So that was the meeting I had with Jebet, Matt, and Aggroad.
We've talked previously on the importance of community, particularly the fact that you can engage with the dev team and on a social level, and you really emphasized that earlier in regards like the fact that Aggroad already had this like community, and whether like you're talking about Hearthstone and so forth, was like Splinterlands. I don't think, I mean, please anyone correct me if you disagree, but I don't think it could have taken off and reached the point it is today without that community. I mean, with other games, like when I was in Guild Wars and stuff, we'd have like a little guild and we'd just do stuff together, but you had no input into the game, with an ArenaNet, Blizzard, or whatever the platform. You're just something that things happen to.
I think the fact that they could tap into the Steam community back then has helped them tremendously. Plus, of course, the product they developed, because there were quite a few games developed for Steam back then, and I think only Splinterlands is still around. I remember a game called Next Colony. I checked it out the other day. I think it's dead.
Yeah, it died about a year ago. I was every day building my bases.
I think
it's gone.
It died, and I think you had a game called Drug Wars. I'm not sure if that's still going.
Yes, I still have Drug Wars. Yeah.
Oh, that's still going.
Yeah, I still play it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. And I think you had like D-City. Is that the game? The name of the game? I'm not sure if that's still around.
I play D-City. Gerber runs that. The tax rates are pretty high at the moment, so he's just trying to stay on top of inflation. But I log in probably once a month and spend my earnings on new assets. Don't pull anything out. I was playing also Rabona. There's a soccer manager game, Rabona.io.
Yes.
I got all my buildings all maxed out, and then I sort of let it go. But Yeah, I think it's easy to look back on it now and say, yeah, okay, Yabba and Agro did this thing. But Yabba's said before, he's built other projects that he's put his heart and mind into, and it's gone nowhere because it didn't have that penetration, that push through to an audience. And I think what really happened in the early days of Splinterlands, or Steam Monsters as it was, is Aggie arrived and built essentially an army in MSP, the Minnow Support Project. So there were 10, 20,000 people in the Discord. He's looking after, support for how to get started on Steam, how to make friends, how to, you name it. They're running competitions, art competitions, music competitions was a big one. I remember Ozbitbank and Crystal, a few others were judges for the Minnow Support Project musician competitions, weekly music comps. And so he built this massive community, and then he said, "Oh, I've got a game idea." Yabba was smart enough to be able to make it a thing. Agro had the art ready and the massive community, and so when they announced that collaboration, and I knew how huge MSP was, the Minnow Support Project, having been in the Discord only briefly, but I could see the size of it. When that happened, and also I saw that all these other projects, it's Pussy Smasher 4000 who's the lead dev, and you're like, who is this, right? Whereas this is Jesse Reich and Matt Rosen from Philadelphia. Here's their faces. Here they are on video chatting. This is not subterfuge, right? This is just two brilliant guys who have an existing audience and a clear, distinct idea for a fantastic game and a clear vision for the future. It's like, why would you not want to get in on this?
Yes, I have to agree. So yeah, plus back then Steam was my life back then. It was like 24/7, every single day. I was just a Steamian through and through. And to see that game being developed on the Steam blockchain back then was just incredible. And of course, one of an extra reason to invest, just to support it, also to win the auction, even though back then it was quite a bit of money for me. It all went into the game development. I don't feel like a lot of money has bled out of the project that people put in. I think they reinvested all that money in building their vision of this game. And if I compare it now to what it was when we just started with just pictures on the blockchain and trading cards in Discord, to having a complete active market, I think I saw it's like still $100,000 a day in trading of all the cards, and the market cap is probably like 200-300 million with all the tokens and everything combined, which is just incredible. Plus the amount of active players. And I know people will say, oh yeah, there's a lot of bots. Yes, there's a lot of bots, but there's also a lot of people, real people playing. And this is blockchain. You also have to deal with the bots. If we can talk about bots for a second. For me, I have the same stance as you, Matt. Code is law in this case. So if bots are a problem or becoming a problem for whatever reason, then code needs to solve the problem. You can't say we're going to ban that account or we're going to disable that account. I think that's the wrong approach. Just find a way, if it's possible. I think it will be quite difficult to stop this perceived problem. I don't see it as a problem. I think bots, well, from a renter perspective, bots are actually pretty great because it's end of season now. And if you rent out your cards for, I don't know, let's say between 50 and 80 CP, they will just be picked up and and rented. So from an investor point of view, it's excellent. Yeah, I can imagine if you're a player, that's a completely different viewpoint. So I can imagine that see your rewards go lower because the bot armies are farming the rewards. Yeah, that doesn't feel great, but code has to solve it. And yeah, I think they will come up with a good solution because they always have, but you can't expect these things to change within, I don't know, 3-6 months. It will probably take a little bit longer, but just be patient, and then it will work out. That's how I look at things, and I just don't worry much. I mean, as an investor, I don't worry about bots. I don't have time for that. It's not my problem. I don't think it will be a long-term problem for the game either. I think it will be solved. And once it's solved, people will just forget about it and then on to the next problem. That's how it usually goes.
I think the people who have a personal problem with bots, where they're really, against it, assume that others will be the same. And so for them, it's not just the problem of bots, it's the problem that the next 100,000 people that arrive to investigate the game will presumably see the bots or discern that there are bots and feel the same as they do about them, and therefore will lose all those players. So for somebody who hates them, assumes others hate them, it's, I see bots as similar to when, started the Industrial Revolution, there were weavers, right? And they're weaving cotton thread, and then people came out with looms, automated looms, and oh no, these things can just do so much more than we can, and it's not right. And they're throwing their shoes in there, and that's where we get saboteur. The term sabot was, the wooden shoe thrown in the in the machine. And so now we look at that and go, oh, that's ridiculous. That was so backward-minded. But at the time, it seemed completely reasonable that here's these bots that are these machines that are taking over our roles, and humanity lived through that and improved because of that. And it's the same with this. So yeah,
it's new technology. It's a new playing field. I mean, this is something we haven't experienced before. This great game on the blockchain working so well, and now there's this bot problem. But it's a new problem, so you can't expect them to come out with a perfect solution straight away. Or it will take time to find out what the best way is to approach these things. But you can't implement these changes straight away, because you will just change the economy of the game. If you're not careful.
I think the items and spells, that second layer of picking, items and spells after you've picked your teams and seen your opponent, I think there's a real avenue there for some cat and mouse mind games between human minds that maybe and again, this is where I got a lot of faith in Yabba, that he'll come up with, as he always does, an elegant solution that I never would have thought of. So, and that's just based on that experience.
I think player staking will help a lot.
Yeah,
because you can have a bot army with 20,000 accounts, but if you also need to stake SPS on all those accounts to earn rewards, that's going to be a problem. That's not going to happen. So I think that could be a potential solution, but you just have to be patient and deal with it for now. But Boba Fett, as a player, what do you? I'm taking over the interview. How do you feel about bots?
I don't know. I mean, I hear about it all the time. But like, for example, when I'm doing the daily quest, it was like a week ago, in one season, every third or fourth game was a Miller bot. Miller 26, Miller 39, Miller, and they just kept smashing me. And I'm thinking, okay. And it got to the point, like, I thought, okay, when it came up, I thought, Miller, okay. I started thinking, okay, this is a bot. I'm just going to do something completely illogical. Like the last thing they're going to expect me to do with this rule set, and I started winning. So as a player, the only, I hear in all the Discord servers, people complaining about bots, but like, it's not an obstacle at all for me. And another way I look at it is it's more economy. I mean, okay, someone's got 20,000 bots. Well, that's 20,000 spell books. That's money going into the economy.
Yep.
That's how I see it. I don't see it as an obstacle at all.
Good. Well, and sorry, I forgot your username. You're on Geo. Sorry. Yeah. Do you play the game? Do you encounter bots?
I did when I didn't have anything invested into the game. I just started an alt account, and I found without me helping that account with the cards that I have from my main account, I was getting smashed by bots. Like they just had optimal lineups. They literally just read what you have and just like algorithmic, just like counter you, hard counter. They just sort of like know what you're playing. And that's the good thing about bots, but it was smashing me. So I reckon for players who don't have any cards off the bat, I reckon bots have the upper hand. Straight up. I reckon it's a bit harder for just people starting off to really feel like they're trying, like there's traction there to get ahead, I think it can be a bit detrimental. That's what I think. But again,
hopefully these upcoming rank rewards changes will do that.
With all the checks and all that, or the fixes, I think they will, like, they've spoken about it on the AMAs. They realize that there's something that they can do there.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know yet. Yeah, like they're working on it. It's a time thing. Patience thing, as you were saying.
Yes,
and
a
that's
bit
my
of faith.
stance on it.
Yeah.
You had a game for us, mate.
Oh yeah.
We're going to have a look at your game then, Gio?
All right. Yeah, well, I'll start up a game for you. Why not?
All right.
Host disabled participant screen sharing.
That's
Can
why
you
I asked
enable
you earlier?
the screen share? Well, Bob,
I asked
there
you
wasn't
right at
an
the
issue.
beginning.
I didn't have an issue then.
We've got to put Excel through his paces and see if he can make a good prediction about how the game's going to go. It's actually good fun seeing the live.
I think he's going to lose.
All right.
Yeah, we've asked Gio to actually play a live game because every time he's picked one to play, he always picks one that he wins. So we want to see how he goes on the fly.
All right.
All right. Yeah, you're putting me at my paces. Yeah, it's cool.
At least you haven't got Pornhub open in another tab.
I do have it in some other tab. I'm actually a bit stuck on
Less than a
this
minute,
one.
Gio. Panic.
Yeah.
No, there's no panic.
I've been here so many times, and then sheer panic.
I just don't know.
Well, it's also slow, so you need
Yeah.
slow monsters.
Reverse speed and no healing.
Right.
So smash hard and
You know what?
fast, hard and quick.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna put a big fella. Let's try. Let's try this guy. Oh my god, it's happened again.
It's crashed
Oh
again.
no. No, it nearly did. Yeah. I felt it like glitch up, but it stopped.
All
I
right.
don't know if it's got something to do with.
15 seconds.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
All right.
Mr. Cool over here.
Oh,
We'll see how I lost.
When my timer gets down to 15 seconds, my brain just leaves the building and it's just whatever the mouse is
Oh,
hovering
yeah.
over
yeah.
is the next card.
All right, let's put it on 3 speed. Oh yeah.
And pause it.
What? Why? How come?
Didn't you
We
say you
would-
lost?
Talk about your lineup and
Oh, yeah.
make predictions.
All right, so I just wanted a big tanky guy up front to fill up the 12 mana with. He has got 1 speed, right? So in a reverse speed, it makes sense. No healing, which he didn't have. It didn't matter. And yeah, I thought I'd put filler in the back row, but this guy has done the old Razamadaz sneak and he's just attacking my back row or he's going to swipe me up from the back to the front. And yeah, we'll see how that plays out.
But at least
Any-
like his Pelacor speed of 5, that's going to really work
Yeah.
against him with reverse speed. That's a strange card to pick.
You think
That's just
so?
going to get smashed real quick.
But for
He
2
still- he
mana,
still
he's
has
got
a-
8 health.
Yeah, and he still has a 25% miss chance from flying.
That's right.
And it's also in reverse speed, magic is a safe bet. So for him to throw up for 2 mana a magic reflect card with plenty of health, that's actually quite a smart play.
All right, but no one's playing Magic at all. So,
I think he's just a meat shield for him.
what's your call here, Matt?
Well, ordinarily looking at this, I'd say Geo would probably take it out. The only thing that bothers me is that Stitch Leech has Life Leech. And that can, by the time you hack through his Pelacor Conjurer, that Life Leech can be sufficient, I think, to give your big tank enough of a problem, especially while his Cutthroat, his Elven Cutthroat, who is doing a lot of damage there, is probably going to miss a lot, but because of the 5 speed, but I think is going to cause some real problems. So I would suggest this will be a loss.
All right. Exile, what do you think's happening?
Decimation for Geo. That's what I think.
Yeah.
And one
We're all
thing,
in agreement then.
the summoner also has +1 melee, so
Melee,
it
yeah.
does help. It really does help his cause. Anyway, let's just play it. Let's see how I get beat. Let's see if it's close at least, yeah? Ooh. What?
That one speed should help you out, you would think.
I missed twice on a rigged. Nah, I should have won. Nah, don't care. Don't care. I should not have missed twice.
Loser, Geotrix.
Oh well, we'll do another one then, huh? One more for you.
Don't forget to pause it this time.
Okay, yeah, sure.
How long have you been playing, Geo?
Realistically, I started last year, but only I bought a pack or two, and that was considered playing. But no, actually having money invested in playing for actual fun, few months, if that. I've only been playing for a few months, realistically.
You got another really low mana as well. Only half your deck available, and Earthquake.
That's cool. That's cool.
He's definitely Mr. Cool, isn't he, Matt?
Yeah, he's got to, I think, get inside his own head a little bit more and really start panicking. He's got to recognise that he's playing in front of the guy who won the first tournament and start.
Hey, okay. I'm not gonna skip anything.
Okay.
I'm not gonna skip anything. Oh, a flesh golem. Yeah, that's a
Flesh
special.
golem. Whoa, represent Matt.
That's a Matt special right there. All right, so I really don't know. Again, the guy's using the +1 melee summoner. That seems to be a real go-to, huh?
I don't think you have enough damage to win. That's what my prediction will be.
He's got heal
and speed. Look at his speed.
Right. Well.
Yeah, I don't see it, man. Sorry. I mean, you don't have any sort of you don't have any melee boost anywhere. There's no inspire. You do have. I mean, your Pelacor Arbalest is great. He'll be really the only one doing any real damage, but it's so hard to overcome that flesh golem with the. One thing I would say is, if it was a flesh golem with Lyanna Natura, it'd have 12 health and it'd be healing for 4 per round. As it is, it's only 11. There's no strength in here, which means it'll only be healing for 3, which is, you'll be doing twice that much damage. But I just don't see that you have enough overall for considering he's got a +1 melee to both of those. They're going to be doing you some damage. So yeah, I think you've lost this one.
Yeah,
why did you pick a 1 health tank?
Nick.
Just to put it in front, just so my Arbalest can attack more before the enemy.
You could have used a chicken for that. It wouldn't have cost you anything.
I don't have a chicken anymore.
That's a 0 mana card.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't have a chicken anymore?
Oh, you don't want to know, buddies. You don't want to know. I made a real mistake when I was selling some cards. I happened to put the chicken up for sale for no extra cost, so someone virtually got a chicken for basically nothing.
Ouch.
Yeah. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. Hey, straight up, in the modern format, chicken, although this is me just, trying to make a situation bad a little bit better, it's not going to be relevant. So I'm looking forward now. I've cut my losses, and I was like, shit. Yeah. Late at night, don't do anything funky selling shit when it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You've had very
best advice of the whole show. Yeah.
Yeah. Just don't do anything very intricate when you're tired, right? It's whatever. Yeah.
Tired.
I was though. I was.
I actually came very close once to nearly selling a card when I was doing my rentals. because it defaults for sale, and you have to click on rent to change it to rent. And like, I nearly sold a card for like, $1.50 or one deck 50 or something. I was like, I just realized just at the last moment, whoa, no, I'm not selling, I'm renting.
That's also one of the reasons why I got most of my cards locked. So on Peak Monsters or in the interface of Splinterlands, you can lock your cards and they can't be sold and they can't be transferred, but you can still rent them out, which is fantastic.
I personally wanted to sell so I could buy more stuff, right? Like I wanted to upgrade some cards. So I did want to sell. I used Peak Monsters. It was a little harder to differentiate the cards because it's like more list, more grid, In the actual Splinterlands game, when you're selling, I wouldn't have made that mistake, to be honest. It's like it's in your face, right? You got to do everything individually. But in Peak Monsters, you got a whole, you can click, Shift A. Yeah, skip that. I just happened to choose the chicken and didn't realize the chicken was in that list of cards to sell.
And I can see you doing that because when I'm in GM, we have pop-ups and stuff, and it's just like click. I said, do you know what you just did? He's like, no. All right, let's see how this goes.
Yeah,
we're running out of time here.
Regardless, it's a good conversation, huh?
Yeah.
But what makes me more what makes me more sad is Matt gifted me that chicken, so I feel bad about that. But hey, it's a lesson. It's a lesson.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right.
Ooh. Wow.
Whoa.
Fucked on.
Well done.
Yeah.
I did not expect that whatsoever.
No. Man, well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were done for sure.
Same. But hey, the arbalist, yeah? And the misses.
Yeah.
How come that the guy in the back shot twice? Is that a special skill?
Two shots, arbalist.
Oh, double strike. Okay.
Double strike. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing.
Yep.
If anyone else would like to, you know what? I think Exile. Do you have any cards playable? They're all rented.
They're all rented. It's end of season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Understood.
So
we've
they're
only
all,
got a few minutes left on the timer anyway. So
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that was fun.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, with that, the Zoom gives me like 10 minutes. The 10-minute mark's just come up. So anyone want to?
Oh.
Up there is. Anyone got any last sort of words or wrap ups, self promo, anything like that?
Well, the only thing I can say is that the Splinter teams recently released their roadmap. You can check it out on that website. Where is it? sps.splinterlands.com. You can see the roadmap there for the game. You can see the release of lands, validators. There's some new card packs coming out. I think it's Rift Watchers, which is actually quite cool. You can only buy Rift Watchers, which is like an extra set with SPS. And then that SPS will go into a DAO, which people can use to make improvements to the game. And if you have SPS staked, you can vote on different proposals, and it will be funded by this DAO. It's quite a cool concept, actually. And that just shows for me that the team is not willing to, just take. They just give so much back, and that gives me a lot of confidence. And you can see this over and over and over again throughout the history of this game, that they really try to give back to the investors, the players, and everybody involved. And yeah, well, that gives me a lot of faith. Plus the openness of the team, and you can approach them, and with the AMA, you can send in your questions if you have questions, and they will answer them honestly, which is it's just great. So that's what I got. And again, just a little bit of patience. I would suggest anybody who watches this, just read the white paper. That's all you have to do. Just watch some other videos.
In my life.
Well, this one is actually very readable. If that's a word, it's very approachable, and you will learn a lot, and it's just a lot of fun from an investment point of view. So that's me.
All right. Yeah. As far as like giving back, Matt has mentioned previously, like with when they first released the gold foils, like it was like, they didn't have to do that, but they just, if you bought packs, here's some gold foils. And the
Yes.
SPS airdrop, like out of nowhere, every day for a year. They didn't have to do that. So, yeah.
That was a bombshell, wasn't it? I did not see that coming. That came out of nowhere. And that really showed me that people that stick with the game for a long time, and I mean years, they will be taken care of, I guess, through all kinds of cool airdrops and other systems they will implement. So that of course, that makes it a lot of fun to stay invested.
Yeah. And are you active on the blockchain?
Sorry, same with vouchers?
Yeah,
sorry.
Vouchers as well.
Exile, are you active on the blockchain? Do you blog or vlog or anything?
I used to make a lot of vlogs. I stopped doing that.
Okay.
So it was a very fun time, but it's also, it takes a lot of time to make the vlogs, prepare them every day. So I reel that in, and I focus my time on some other stuff. And I must admit that it's also quite relaxing to just not always having to be on the forefront or just vlogging all the time. But I do like this, to be honest. This is way more laid back. This is just sitting here talking about stuff you love with other people that love it too. And yeah, this is much better. Yeah.
Matt, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I like the way that Bob does all the editing, so I can just sit and chat, and then I have to think about it. And the next day, here it all is. Yeah. With my
Matt just picks his nose, does whatever he wants, and he doesn't have to worry about it coming out on the video.
Yeah. Look, Exile, it's a pleasure, man. Like I like having different faces on, and like just for a while there, I just like zoning into what you were saying the whole time.
I could see that.
I was just like in my drunken stupor, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
I was just focusing on you, just listening. I was just like, wow, he knows his shit. So yeah, I just want to say thank you for coming on, and I love Matt and yourself just talking so on point. Yeah. So yeah, man.
Well, thank you very much. And maybe somewhere in the future, if you want, I could come on again. Maybe a few months or half a year from now. Well, it kind of depends. For me, the most important event I'm looking forward to is the AMA with Matt, where he will explain the validator nodes. So I'm just waiting for that, and I think that's going to be super cool. And then the next announcement I'm looking forward to is what he has in store for us after the airdrop stops with the DeFi plans they have. They're toying with, and yeah, that's going to be quite major. Cool stuff all around.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, the next big release, like if you've got something that you want to share or talk about something you can't talk about now, just let us know.
Yeah,
just
man.
Jump in our Discord server there, and
all right.
have you on the next show.
Okay, well, it was a pleasure to be here. So I had a lot of fun, and thanks for the invite.
Thank you for joining. Yep. And just for the viewers out there, just remember every week, each episode, we encourage engagement on the posts. If you have any comments you'd like to share, if you have a link to a battle you'd like to share, please do so, because every week one commenter that generates the most engagement from their comment will receive 10% of the post rewards for the episode. So jump on, share your links, share your comments, tell us how much you love us, and it might help. All right. We won't click out today. We'll just say our goodbyes. So yeah, thanks for joining us once again. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Bye-bye.
See you, man.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.